How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTC Reaper. My goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading, whether price is going up or down. So to jump over to the total for the daily, zoom out. So we did end up breaking away from our flag. We are still within our channel technically, and we did get an early break up to the top of our flag as we got that rejection. So this isn't really a play out of our pattern, because we were within our channel. If we jump to the lower time frame, I bet we jumped up and then crashed down. So yeah, we pushed forward, broke away from our channel, tried to invalidate it, and now we're pulling back into this descending channel. This descending channel, remember, can push us forward. So as we trade back into it, we are respecting this resistance area. We could end up respecting the support and then still seeing an attempt to bounce forward. This would just be a whale move to attempt to manipulate us out of the pattern. But remember, this pattern could be bearish overall. That VWAP does want to pull back that yellow wave. I would exercise caution. If it continues to pull back, our momentum, the blue wave, will continue to weaken, and we will see the money flow. That green wave flip further into the red. It's very hard to see right here. But once it breaks red, we do have a bearish trend. As that bearish trend continues on higher time frames, we could start to break down. Our RSI is pulling back, stochastic is dropping down. Our stochastic is starting to roll away, that double line. So as that rolls away, the red line, our RSI, can weaken. And as that RSI and stochastic go below 30, they become bearish and can bring price action lower with them. So over on the daily, we are seeing that push down. So for our indicators, momentum is in the bearish territory. Stochastic is favoring bearish. Our RSI does want to pull back, and the money flow does want to pull back as well. Overall, with that 1 hour breaking into the bearish territory, I would exercise caution because we could see a continued drop. The 2 hour, money flow is pulling back, VWAP is rounding away, and momentum is dropping down. Both the 1 and 2 hour are in bearish agreement, so I would exercise caution. The 4 hour also has that bearish money flow, so as that money flow is bearish on these 3 time frames, that does set the daily up for a stronger move down. And remember, since total is representative of the market cap of all our altcoins, we could see altcoins drop down. Now you see dominance did increase today. That's because Bitcoin didn't drop as much of altcoins, so it is holding its value better. It has been for some time, but as ETH ETFs start coming out, we should see that improve for our altcoins. Our momentum does want to push forward. This is on Bitcoin dominance. Momentum wants to bounce. Money flow is pushing up as that VWAP is trying to recover, but I would watch that VWAP close. We do have a weak high and continued lows. If we reject for a lower high here, we likely could see continued bearish momentum and start to see dominance reject away. Momentum is pulling back, so watch that VWAP close. If that VWAP makes that rejection, that's where momentum and money flow would start to fall. Over on Bitcoin futures for the daily, we do still have our bearish channel. We did gap down though, so if we zoom in here, you can see we have a bit of a space between our 2 candle bodies here. That is what's called a gap. If that's unfamiliar to you, visit our Mastering the Trade series. RSI does want to pull back. That VWAP is in the bearish territory, that yellow wave. As that VWAP favors bearish, our momentum will continue to weaken and our money flow could start to pull back. Remember that money flow does show if people are buying or selling. So if money flow is weakening, then we likely would drop away. We are still within our bearish channel here on the 4 hour, but we don't have the same gap. So that is positive for us. That could mean we could try to push forward. The gap's actually slightly above us, so we could jump up to that area. If we jump up to the 64,750 and we can hold, that could be positive. We could see it run forward. However, if we jump to that area and reject, that's where we could see a continued drop to the downside. That momentum is in the bearish territory. VWAP does want to reject. Money flow is starting to pull back, so overall, I would exercise caution here. Over on the 2 hour, we do have that gap here, so that's where it's coming from. I would watch because if we can make a strong bounce off this bottom, that would be our second touch to the bottom. We have 2 touches to the top. So our third touch to the top would be where we would want to break, and that could put us somewhere near where we mapped out the other day. If we can see that break of 65.5 and hold, that's where we could see that run up. So that gap could give us that initial momentum, momentum does want to push up. VWAP is in the bullish territory, the yellow wave. As that yellow wave favors bullish momentum, the blue wave can continue forward, and our money flow, the red wave, could start to gain strength, signaling that people are buying the asset. And if they're buying, that means price will start to increase, and we may invalidate the double top possibility that could bring us to 30K. Over on the 1 hour here, we are overall trending down, very similar to the 2 hour as far as the candle patterns. The stochastic does want to roll away, RSI is pulling back, the VWAP has higher highs, but we have a lower low. I would watch if we maintain bearish momentum here, we will likely see a breakdown. Momentum does want to roll away, and it has a red dot as that VWAP is breaking down. So if that continues, money flow will continue to weaken, and price action could push to the 61.7 still if we're not careful. So remember, there is a chance we invalidate this channel, as it is more secondary to the rising channel we are starting to break away from. Over on Bitcoin for the daily, very similar price action here. As remember, futures leads Bitcoin price, so they're going to be very similar. They just trade at a premium against each other. RSI is pulling back here. Our momentum is dropping down. Our VWAP is in the bearish territory. If we zoom in, you can see that a little better, but is trying to get higher lows. We want it to break for a higher high. If it can break for a higher high, we could push forward. But again, I would watch. We do have that lower time frame on futures where we could get that gap jump, and that could help push Bitcoin further with it. Remember, they do trade together. Momentum does want to round forward. We are overall pretty beat down. It can't go much lower. Money flow is starting to pull back, so I would exercise caution. If that VWAP does reject here, momentum will continue to remain in this oversold area, and money flow would start to break down. That would result in price breaking our 63K. But if we can make it bounce around the 63K, get that third touch to the bottom and push forward, making a third touch to the top, we could see our bullish channel break up and try to invalidate our channel. Remember, we want to hold above the 300 EMA if we do make that run up. VWAP is pulling back here on the 4 hour. Momentum is rounding away. That stochastic, if we zoom out, is pushing down with orange above blue, so that's a bearish cross that wants to bring us lower, which is bringing RSI away. That's starting to round away that red line, and that's bringing price action lower with it. So over on the 2 hour, zoom over here for you. Our blue line, our momentum, our blue wave is pushing down. The VWAP is in the bearish territory, that yellow wave. We do have a higher low though, so I would watch for a higher high. If we can get a higher high with this higher low, we could see that VWAP push forward, that yellow wave, which will give our momentum, the blue wave, strength to push that money flow, the red wave, up and over the zero. If we see that money flow cross over zero and become green, then we have a bullish trend that could push us forward. Over on the 1 hour here, sorry about that, kind of zoomed out. That'll be a little easier to see there. Our momentum is in the bearish territory. VWAP does want to push up. We do have a higher low, but we're struggling to cross that neutral. Again, we need to cross and hold. Otherwise, we're going to continue to reject these EMAs on our market cipher A. Remember, we are using market cipher B edits and market cipher A free version 1.1. This is free in trading. Stochastic is dropping. RSI does want to pull away. That VWAP is struggling, so watch for the VWAP to reject. If that VWAP rejects our neutral here, we will see the yellow wave continue lower, bringing momentum down, and then money flow could start to sell off, and that would bring us lower toward that 63K and possibly give us that breakdown scenario. However, remember, we have that gap possibility on futures that could push futures up, and as futures leads Bitcoin, that could lead Bitcoin up with it. And we also do have that descending channel that is a bullish pattern. So over on graph for the daily, our RSI and stochastic want to round away. Momentum is starting to pull back. Remember, drop anything in chat if you want to see extra coins beyond ALGO. Momentum is trying to push forward. Our VWAP is starting to round away, and the momentum is dropping, causing money flow to sell off. That money flow is heavy in the bearish territory, so I would exercise caution. While we do have a bullish channel, we are starting to pull back into it. I would exercise caution. We kind of have a bullish channel above one, and we are trading within them still. But us breaking back into the first one, if we drop below the second one, could cause us to drop lower. So over on the 4 hour, We did try to get a bullish break up, so we'll move our line over here, and that would technically be the full move for that first channel. We will delete this channel. Over on the 4-hour, we're not quite into this channel yet, that first channel, but I would exercise caution. If we can't maintain a break forward, that may be all the break up we got on that one candle right there. Our stochastic does want to drop down. RSI is starting to pull back. Momentum is rounding away. Our VWAP has lower lows with a higher high, so we are indecisive, but we're starting to favor bearish, which is causing momentum to drop down and weakening the money flow, resulting in people selling off. So over on this 2-hour here, we are rejecting EMAs. We're not holding above any of those EMAs. Remember, we want to hold above those if we're going to continue forward. That VWAP is in the bearish territory. Momentum is rounding away. The stochastic's pushing down, and the RSI is weakening. So overall, the bears do have quite a bit of strength on us, and we are pushing lower. I would watch if we break back into our channel. If we break back in and hold, then we can see the bears continue to gain strength and push us lower here. Over on the 1-hour, RSI is dropping down. Momentum's dropping down with it. Money flow is starting to reject away. The VWAP does want to break that neutral. We have higher lows, but we just can't get through the neutral, so we are struggling to maintain bullish momentum there. Over on ALGO, or Ankr for the daily, sorry about that. Over on Ankr for the daily, we are trying to bounce off this 28, 29, 51 cent area. We are struggling to hold above that 30 cent area, so we are continuing to see a pullback. I would exercise caution. Momentum does want to round. RSI is pulling back. That VWAP wants to break down. Momentum is rounding, and money flow is favoring bearish. So overall, we do look like we could start to sell off if we're not careful. Over on the 4-hour, momentum is dropping down. VWAP does want to reject that neutral. We do have a lower high with slightly lower lows, so I would watch as that could start to break us down. Our stochastic, our double line, is pulling back, causing the red line, our RSI, to pull back and bring price action lower. Now remember, when that RSI sells off, price action tends to follow. That VWAP being bearish with the stochastic and RSI dropping down, that yellow wave can cause us to continue to tumble, and we may push down to our 2673 with the bearish momentum we covered on the total. So over on the 2-hour here, we are trying to overall trend down. This could be bullish for us. Remember, a descending channel is a bullish pattern, and it does tend to break you forward. So we could, if I grab the right lines here, we could try to run forward here. We do have 2 touches to the bottom, 2 touches to the top. So we would want to break forward, continue momentum, and then break that 30 cents and hold. Otherwise, if we don't see that break forward, this channel would start to reject us lower and we could drop, but the highs and lows do connect, so it's not a bearish continuation channel unless we get a wild low that drops away and then we fail to get those higher highs that connect. Now RSI is pulling back, stochastic does want to round away, VWAP is starting to round as well, momentum is dropping down, and the money flow is starting to weaken, so the 2-hour doesn't look very positive. We do need to bounce and hold above this support level of this channel if it's going to play out. If we break this support level, then we will invalidate it. Stochastic does want to round away. RSI is pulling back. That VWAP is pushing down. It did break bullish. We got higher highs, but watch if it gets lower lows. If we get lower lows, we could continue bearish momentum. This blue wave would start to pull back, and then money flow would sell off, resulting in price action dropping as people are continuing to sell, and the sell pressure has been for a prolonged time on the 1-hour. So if it does not reverse, those higher time frames will weaken and drop lower. Over on XRP for the daily, we do have this descending channel that does want to break us up. We are starting to reject away, so this could be positive if we are able to hold that support. That support would probably put us right around the 44.45 that we have been warning about for quite some time. The momentum does want to round away here. VWAP is starting to break into the bearish territory. Money flow is selling off. So overall, I would exercise caution. We could see bearish continuation from here if the rest of the market continues to sell off. That VWAP is in the bearish territory. We have a lower low after attempting to get a bullish trend. Then we rejected. Momentum is dropping down and money flow is starting to pull back. If this VWAP gets a lower high and continues with lower lows, we will see momentum continue lower, weakening the money flow and bringing price action down. Stochastic and RSI are also dropping away, resulting in us dropping away as well. So over on the 2 hour here, momentum is in the bearish territory. VWAP does want to round away. We could get that lower low with those lower highs, so I would watch. That could be that bearish trend on the lower time frames. That could give us that breakdown toward the 44-45. And if we break out of this channel, we do still have the 35 zone as well. That momentum is dropping, money flow wants to weaken, stochastic's dropping down, and the RSI is weakening due to the stochastic dropping down. So I would exercise caution because that can lead price action lower. Over on the 1 hour here, our momentum is dropping down. VWAP is trying to break bullish. We do have higher lows, but we're struggling to get over that zero. If that VWAP, that yellow wave, cannot get over the zero, it will reject away. Momentum will remain in the oversold area, that blue wave, which will cause money flow to continue lower and bring price action down. Stochastic and RSI do want to round as well. So we do have a bit of bearish momentum on the lower time frames. We also have some consolidation going on. After a breakdown, exercise caution. This could start to confirm a bear flag that could start to push us lower as well. So last but not least, since there were no other requests, we have ALGO. So we are breaking our support level here as well of our 1350. RSI and stochastic are dropping. Momentum wants to round away. Money flow is pulling back. If you haven't already, smash the like, hit the subscribe. That way you can join us in chat. 4 hour does want to pull back. We are struggling to hold above our EMA levels. If we can't break above those EMA levels, we will continue to drop away. Stochastic is dropping down. RSI is weakening. Momentum is dropping away. And the VWAP is trying to break down after trying to break bullish. So we crossed the neutral, then got rejected and continued lower. Over on the 2 hour, our stochastic is starting to pull back. Momentum is favoring bearish. That VWAP does want to round away, getting a lower high with lower lows, creating that bearish trend that can bring it lower, much like the rest of the market. And over on the 1 hour, RSI and stochastic are rounding. That VWAP does look like it wants to cross to the bearish territory, so watch. If it does cross to the bearish territory, momentum will continue lower and money flow will continue to drop down, and we will see price action drop away, possibly revisiting that 10-cent zone at 1032. Thank you for watching tonight.